If there's one thing I can't stand, it's sharing a house with another human being. And it's not because I hate people. Well, it's a little bit because of that. But I think we can agree roommates are terrible. Alright, so I'm just a tad neurotic, and I understand maybe a bit of a clean freak. But why is it that so many people just do not give a shit? I think you know who I'm talking about. The kind of person who will leave their greasy pizza boxes on the floor for 3 months until the mold grows so thick that you have to pry it off with a crowbar. The kind of person who blows their nose and then throws the snot-drenched tissue on the floor. The kind of person who will use your dishes and not bother cleaning them and instead just leave them in the sink until the stench keeps you from going anywhere near the kitchen. I've known people so bad that they couldn't even walk through a room without making a complete mess of it. I knew this guy once, I called him the tornado. What's worse is when asking them to clean up after themselves just gets you called a nag, and then they don't do it anyway. Now I've actually developed a strategy to deal with this. Wait until they're not there, then gather all the garbage that they like to leave in the common area and throw it in their room. If they're enough of a fucking pig, they probably won't notice the extra layer of filth on the floor anyway. But even worse than leaving garbage laying around are the kind of people who will take your stuff and turn it into garbage. You know the type. I'm pretty sure that everything I have that's ever been broken has been from someone else using it. I like to paint miniatures, and I use spray paint for a base coat. I had a roommate who did too. What he liked to do is take my spray paint, use it, and then leave it outside. So now not only can I not find my own paint, but it's actually outside being destroyed. Alright, another story about that same guy. He liked to take my broom and leave it out in the woods. I don't know what the fuck he was doing with it, but this wasn't an isolated incident. If I couldn't find my broom, I could be reasonably sure that it was outside on the ground somewhere. One thing I've noticed is that everyone thinks they have a great taste in music and everyone else's taste is bad. That being said, I had a roommate once who absolutely loved his Christian rap. And he would blast that shit. When I asked him, hey, maybe buy some headphones, he had the best excuse I've ever heard. My ears are sensitive, I can't wear headphones. That's great. Thanks. Okay, same guy, another type of music he would blast, and this is weird as shit. Traditional Jewish hymns. I wish I was making this up. With him, it was either terrible rap or the sound of trumpets at 2 in the morning. I actually had to move my bed into the closet and then soundproof the door so I could attempt to sleep at night. And I'm sure we all know a few people who won't shut the hell up about their religion. Now, I'm not really religious now, but even when I was, I couldn't stand people talking about it all the time. It's even more fun when you have a roommate who tries to shoehorn in some religious excerpt into every conversation you have. Alright, another story about that Jewish hymn rap guy. He loved to talk about his religion, and I'm not entirely sure what his religion even was. It seems that he took Judaism and Christianity and made his own religion out of it. Jews for Jesus or something. He was very convinced that his own interpretation of religious text was the one real truth and everyone else was wrong. And boy did he love to preach about it. You could not escape it. He was about 1 follower away from starting a cult. And my most favorite kind of roommates are the ones who always have the latest games, but never seem to have quite enough money for rent. You know how I said I'm kind of neurotic? Well, it turns out that it works pretty well for keeping track of money. I think people realize that, so usually I'm in charge of collecting rent money to give to the landlord or whatever. And when it's time to collect rent, people get very dramatic. You know, when you ask someone for money they owe and they treat it like you've stabbed them in the heart. I had a roommate once who had a full-time job, making more than I ever did, who basically had no bills other than rent. No car, no insurance, no debt. And still had to borrow money from me every month to pay rent. What the fuck are you doing with your money? No exaggeration, I think he spent it all on riot points for League of Legends. No money for food, gotta get that legendary Vladimir skin though. I could talk about terrible roommates all day, but for the sake of time, let's save the rest of it for the comments. Tell me about your worst roommate experiences. I'm actually really interested to know what sort of insane things other people have to go through. Anyway, I'm Kothorix, and you have a wonderful day. Alright, so today's subscriber shoutout goes to Banjo Man Dude Guy. He's been putting up some gaming videos and he's pretty funny, so go check him out.